Obadiah.
Okay, here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 2, season 2, episode 2 of STK Surviving the Knicks. Give it up, fellas. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. All right. Awesome. So tonight, we got Wall Street Heck in the building. Wall Street, what's going on?
What's up?
All right, there we go. We got a special guest from Basketball Only, the internet's most hated troll, king of the hot takes, the indomitable Ryan Fallon. Here's Ryan. Hashtag here's Ryan. He doesn't even have Instagram, and he's got a hashtag. That's how ill this guy is. Okay. What's going on, Ryan? How you feeling tonight?
Chilling.
That's what's up. Tonight.
Yo, don't forget me, man.
Oh my God.
Me, bro.
No days off. No days off. No days off.
Dollars, brother.
No days off for Ed Dollars. What's going on, man?
Day. Knicks forever.
You're not trying to
at Wall Street's house, making sure that Wall Street's doing his homework. I'm making sure he's like researching his stuff. This guy's playing like video games up in here.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Man. Gotta set him straight.
Wall Street all day, all night.
Gotta set him straight, Ed. Gotta set him straight, Ed. Yes. Oh, man. And I'm Just.Hek. And tonight, we got a great episode lined up for you guys and ladies out there. Okay. Tonight, we're going to talk about some key Knicks players that may or may not have an impact on the season. We're going to start off with Mitchell Robinson, who I'm never big on, but yeah, he puts on some weight. Everybody's like super stoked. They want to sign him to an extension. I think he's on agent number 6 now. I don't know who's representing him. Ed Dollars might be representing him at this point. but fellas, let's start with you, Ryan. What is your take on Mitchell Robinson? Is he worth the extension? Do you invest in him? Or because technically right now he's Nerlens Noel's backup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that. Like, the thing with this extension is, and I had mentioned this to you, I think the ideal situation for someone like him is that he ends up taking a contract that's a little bit, I think, under what he's potentially capable of. Kind of like what Steph Curry did back in the day. Because a lot of the reason that the Warriors were able to succeed was because they had so many people on bargain deals, Steph Curry being the big one. And that was mostly predicated by, his injury history. With Mitchell Robinson at this point, he's got a broken foot. He broke his hand. I think he had another injury earlier on in his career.
Right.
So there's just a lot of back and forth. But when he was on the court, he was productive.
Right.
Not super productive offensively, but at the end of the day, you can't teach tall, and he's really, really good at defending the rim. Just running the floor. So I think I would definitely extend him. It just sort of depends on the numbers that they're working with. So one number that's been floated around was like $44 million for 4 years, which I think matches up with the timeline that the Knicks are working with, which is roughly 3 years. So they have like a 3-year plan, it seems, with a lot of the contracts they signed in free agency. So I think you definitely want to hold on to him. And it's cool that he's Nerlens Noel's understudy for now, because Nerlens Noel's really good. And when he went down in the Hawks series, like, that's kind of what sealed the deal in a lot of ways, because they just had no depth at that position. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm the GM, I extend him. I think he's worth it. Yeah, I mean, I think his floor is somewhere around like where Miles Turner's already at. And yeah, you want to build culture. And I think the way you do that is by showing that you support players that you drafted, like that you got when they were, like on their sophomore or rookie contract, and just invest in them. And I think that that's something that the Knicks have begun doing with a lot of players. And he's a good candidate for that.
Okay. So his right now, the extension ceiling is 45 million, give or take.
Yeah,
okay.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Okay, all right. So we got Coach B in the building. He ran home from coaching, doing double scrimmages What's going on, Coach?
Yo,
You good?
good, man.
All right. So, Coach, because I'm going to save Wall Street. I want to save Wall Street for last on this one. But Coach, is Mitchell Robinson worth an extension, or is it, or honestly, or do you kind of just go off the hype and trade him for something even better? Okay. Coach is having some technical difficulties. All right, Coach. Coach, we're gonna come back to you because you have it.
He is a red. He got that Tyson Chandler.
I muted him and he's still talking. Okay. No, it was crazy. So Wall Street, we're gonna come back to you, Coach. We got you. Wall Street. Extension or not?
I think so. I think that you got to keep him. It's like you said, we're building culture. We wanna build our young guys. I heard somebody say one time, when you're the best at something in the NBA, you're the best in the world, right? So he could be contending for a top spot in blocks around the rim. You know, one of the toughest shots to block is the jump shot. Like when you get blocks, you tend to get blocks around the lane, right? Guys come in soft, they try to finger roll, you get blocks. Blocking jump shots cleanly is the hardest block in the game. And he does that maybe as good as anybody we've seen in that early on. You know, it usually takes a lot of time to master that craft. I actually heard one of the podcasters say that he wasn't an intelligent basketball player. That made absolutely no sense for me because you have to be super aware of what's going on around you to get blocks. And you know, you're right, you can't teach tall, but you know, I think that he's a little bit more than tall. He runs the court. He plays with a lot of passion. He plays with a lot of fire. He's not afraid of anybody, and you gotta like that. I thought that he got disrespected because I thought that he was putting down some of the best dunks that we were seeing early on in the season and the season prior to that. I thought that he was dunking it on dudes just as much as anybody else, but we were not catching that on SportsCenter. They were not talking about him in SportsCenter. And we didn't touch in on that, and I wanted to talk about that. I always had that in the back of my mind, like, why is Mitch not on SportsCenter? Because he's dropping the hammer on anybody stupid enough to be under the rim when he got the ball on an offensive rebound and coming off the pick and roll. So yeah, when you look at him coming off the pick and roll, reminds you a lot of a lot of those Clipper days with Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan. Now DeAndre Jordan was a lot stronger than he was, a lot wider, maybe even a little heavier. But he's up there with the best when we talk about protecting the rim, blocking jump shots, which is crazy hard, and just, you know, bringing the hammer down on dudes' heads and making the garden go wild, you know. So yeah, so I keep playing like that.
With 10 seconds to go, what kind of extension would you give him?
You know, I hate the numbers, man. I don't know. Give him money.
Give him money. Hey, listen. I like that. All right, Coach. We good? We ready?
Yeah.
All right, Coach.
Hold on.
Let's get busy.
So, like his skill set, you know, is it's great when you're young. You know, a young Tyson Chandler, a young DeAndre Jordan. You know, but as you get older, you got to be able to expand your game. And like his summer workouts shows that he has a potential to do that. You know, I don't know if he's just messing around, but, you know, he's shooting the threes in some of his summer workouts. So it shows that he has some potential. But when you look at the makeup of the team, it's all about the right price, man. He's not a super max guy because he's not, you know, like 24, 12 and, you know, and like 3 or 4 blocks yet. Like, I don't know if I really see his game expanding to that, you know, because, again, he never really got the opportunity to be a go-to scorer. So, like, a super max for being a Rudy Gobert type without having, you know, a defensive player of the year, you know, without having an all-defensive team accolades really doesn't make any sense to me. So, do we extend him? Sure. Does he get a max? No. Okay. You know, so like, if he wants to take a team-friendly deal, cool. If not, take my chances with Nerlens Noel and Jericho Sims.
I was saying before that Jericho Sims makes him really expendable, but that was just from a summer league standpoint. I'm just, as much as you guys, especially Knicks fans, right? As much as you guys are so big on him, I've yet to see what you guys see because number one, he's mostly been injured. When he's playing, you see flashes here and there. And every summer in his workouts, he's shooting the three. So I don't know. I mean, I want to believe in you guys, but really, I see a missed opportunity for LaMelo Ball when you guys didn't trade him to Golden State. Because regardless of anything, I don't think New York is the place for him to really blow up. I don't know. I think there's been too many changes. And I also think in his personal situation with the changing of agents all the time, it's like he's lacking stability. And once he gets to that place, I think we will see like the potential that, as a McDonald's All-American and him being a 5-star recruit in college and all those things, or when he's supposed to go to college or whatever. But I don't know. I want to see what you guys see, but I don't see it.
All right, I'm gonna have to jump in here.
Go ahead, jump in. Jump in.
You guys aren't talking the right numbers now. Do you know that Mitchell Robinson led the NBA in field goal percentage? Not last year, but the year before last.
Yes.
He had a 74.5% field goal percentage. And this year, he had a 69% field goal percentage, which means that when he's focused, when he's playing 25 minutes a game, he could be literally one of the best centers in the game. And, from the construct of the Knicks, what do we need? We already got Julius Randle that's scoring from the low post. We need a rim runner. We need a blockaholic. And we need a guy that once he receives the ball can get the ball in the hoop. And that's what Mitch does. Additionally, although they gave Noel all that money, Noel will not be the starting center for the New York Knicks when starting lineups come into play because Mitch is that much better than Noel. Mitch he's a big body in the NBA. He, in my opinion, he could be a DeAndre Jordan. He could be a Clint Capella. He was lacking what we all knew the Knicks were lacking, a competent point guard to get him the ball, especially on lob plays. You know how many times quickly threw the ball up in the air and Mitch caught it, or RJ throwing the ball up in the air? If we can get that consistently, of course he's worth $10 million a year, $10 million a year, $40 million for 4 years. But as you pointed out, Just.Hek, he's that stupid and he doesn't have the rationale, which means that we could probably get him from a little lower. We could probably get him for 4 years, $35 million. And that is the sweet spot. All right. I'm just here. I'm just checking out. Let me flip back out.
Mitchell Robinson usually good with numbers. Those numbers sound horrible.
Yeah, I mean, those are like really Nick-friendly numbers, but knowing Mitch Robinson, I don't think he signed that deal before that.
Also, DeAndre Jordan used to lead the league in field goal percentage too, man. I don't take that.
When you're like 1 foot away from the basket.
No, coach.
Come on.
Today, DeAndre Jordan's a Hall of Famer. Tell me I'm lying.
No.
DeAndre Jordan's a Hall of Fame player.
No, for what?
Hey, are you trying to challenge Ryan for a hot take?
Tyson Chandler's a Hall of Famer?
Ryan's the white Ed.
Ryan, he's trying to come for your belt. Right? Ed's trying to come for your belt.
DeAndre Jordan's a Hall of Famer. It's mostly because of his play in international games. Like, if it's just based on his NBA experience, like, no, absolutely not. The most important stat, though, is games played. And at this point, Just.Hek has a point in that, like, Mitch Robinson's great when he's playing. He's just not playing a lot. So I agree with you. You could probably get him for less. I hope he's not listening to this podcast so that we can get him for less money than $40 million a year. But at the same time, he has the same problems that DeAndre Jordan does. He's a horrible free throw shooter, like absolutely garbage free throw shooter. And that matters, especially in the playoffs. And the Knicks are now a playoff team. So these are things you have to consider. I do think that he'll develop, but I don't know. It's just I don't want his aspirations to be DeAndre Jordan. I think he could be better than.
He could be better.
You see the off-season workouts, he's going between the legs. He's beating up people shorter than him, taking them off the dribble and shooting shots.
And Ben Simmons is shooting threes in summer workouts. So
It don't look.
listen,
Ben Simmons is a special case. It don't
I
look
am a notorious Mitch Robinson hater. So I'm not, I don't want to go there, but everybody looks
Not
good
like-
in the summer league workout.
But
You know what I'm saying?
the main thing, like, he likes the team and the team likes him. Like, he tells,
Yeah.
like, there's kind of been a revolving door for a couple of years. He's been cool with everyone that's been there. It was a lot like when Iman Shumpert was on the Knicks. He did the whole Knicks tape thing. Like, Mitch had those Mitch interviews and stuff. Like, he's a part of it. He's helping build that. And it's really, really important. And
Definitely.
that's not something that you see, on a stat sheet, but it makes a winning culture.
Definitely does. Definitely does. All right, fellas. Moving along. So let's talk about Kemba Walker. Now, Kemba Walker got traded to the Thunder from the Boston Celtics. His tenure there wasn't remarkable. But he got traded to the Thunder and then was let out of that deal. I think he left like $20 million on the table to get out of Oklahoma City, and signed a very nice deal for the Knicks. 2 years, $19 million, right? I don't know. Is Kemba the savior of the New York Knicks? Can he lead them out of the first round? Or does he succumb to another year of bad knees and trying out which seat on the bench is most comfortable? Wall Street, let's start with you.
I think that Kemba was a good move for the culture. Is he going to be our savior? Is he going to take us to the promised land? I don't know. I doubt that. When you look at a team like the Knicks, it's a team effort. So if you're going to get them to gel and they're going to play together and we get into the second round, it's not going to be because, Kemba was giving us 30 a night. But can he be somebody that like we were talking about before? I just love that term when you guys said it, is unlock someone. And it's basically, some guys just bring the best out of each other, And so if he's out there and he's bringing the best out of RJ and RJ's bringing the best out of him and they're together gelling with Mitch and getting the ball in the air and getting the ball in the breaks to Randall, then yeah, he's definitely a step in the right direction. He's not gonna let anybody. He's a tough guy, so he's not gonna let anybody really, play soft out there. He's definitely a leader. He's a vocal leader, and like we said before, psychologically, he's coming back to the Bronx, man. He's coming back to New York City. He's got to have a great season, even if he stumbles a little bit this first season. Then maybe year 2 or whatever, he's definitely a step in the right direction. It's showing, what the Knicks are doing, and they're going in the right direction. They're definitely doing a lot better than they were doing in the last 5 to 7 years, or even 7 to 10 years. So yeah, I like him here. Is he a savior? I wouldn't put that much pressure on the dude, But it's a good look for us. It's a good look for us. Heck.
X muted. You don't even know.
I muted myself and then tried to. Okay, let me do that again. Coach B, BX in the building. That's right, Big B in the building.
Listen,
Coach.
let me the savior. It's a big tag to put on anybody, and it's rather unfortunate. That's not something we want to do, especially with the New York media. Yeah, we know how the New York media likes to run with things. Part of the reason I hate it here sometimes. Things just get blown out of proportion. But definitely, he will carry some weight if there's more success than last year. And he's going to be a big part of that as a starting guard. I hope he doesn't get injured because his game is made, it's made for this. He's going to, everything that he did at UConn could only be magnified because he's a better player than he was at that time. And yes, it's a bigger stage too, but he fits in as a leader, as a scoring guard. Everything else is just going to come to him as you know the team progresses and the chemistry builds, it'll just flow. Like that closer that we were missing before, Kemba can be that closer. You know, that was a problem in Boston where, you know, he was the man in Charlotte. Then, you know, they tried to make Jason Tatum the man and have him play off of him. But for whatever reason, that didn't mesh. So now it's back to him having to carry a lot of the scoring load late in games and making the right decision when it matters most. And we know he's that kind of star. So do I want the pressure put on him, you know, or have the like whole idea of the media attacking him because he's supposed to be the savior? No. But can he actually do it? Like I've seen it, you know, as a sports enthusiast, you know, anybody who's seen college basketball knows that he's good for it. Anybody that's seen him in Charlotte knows that he's good for it. So I'm just go out on a limb and say, yeah, you know, let him be the savior and let him be the 20 and 7 assists per game guy that the Knicks are missing. And, you know, let Julius Randle do what he does and everyone else fit in where they can.
Okay. All right. So Ryan. Ryan, king of the hot takes. Let's get you unmuted. Let's hear what you got to say about Kemba. Is he gonna get us out of? Is he gonna get the Knicks out of the first round, maybe to a championship, or is he gonna be calling out sick a lot?
Look, savior is a big word. I don't know if that's the one that I would use. I think that that's actually been a big problem for the Knicks because every time anybody halfway decent comes to the team, that's what you call them. Right. I don't think he's going to be that. I don't want him to be that, and I don't think he needs to be that. I'm excited for him for a couple of different reasons, but one of the ones that I think is probably most important for me is how great it's going to be for Emmanuel Quickley to have Kemba Walker working with him and also still have Derrick Rose like working with him. So it's not like Kemba's going to have as much of a demand on minutes and things like that. I'm personally a little scared because he's playing for Tom Thibodeau, the player eater. And with the needs that he's got, the age, the size, it's a little scary. But at the same time, you know, you look at his offensive production and you think about some of the other moves that the Knicks have made, like picking up Evan Fournier, for example. I think that it was a really smart pickup because it addresses a lot of the big flaws that they had last season. We might take a step back in terms of things like defense, but what we get in terms of leadership and stuff, it's pretty hard to deny it. You know, I think the most important thing is like he's not going to be the savior because he doesn't need to be, but he's going to be a really, really great addition. And it was a solid pickup. Plus, I mean, it just makes you feel good because this guy is like a homegrown guy, and that's just it always makes you feel good as an fan.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Okay. Ed Dollar's in the building.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ed.
Nice high school, UConn. He's not a savior, but god damn it, he's the best we've had in like 20 years. I told you that last week. Let me rattle off a couple of numbers. Last year, we got Alfred Payton scoring 10.1 points a game. His PER was 10.1. A PER of 10.1. The average PER in the NBA is 15. Kemba Walker's PER is 17.5. He averaged 19.5 points per game, and he shot a decent amount from three. Right now, we have plus positives on each of those categories. We're going from a guy that had a 10.1 PER that played 20 plus minutes a game to a person that has a 17.5 point PER and is going to play about 25 points a game. He definitely won't be the savior because, again, back to Coach B, yourself, Ryan, and Just.Hek, that's a lot to put on a person. But the fact that he's bringing the excitement back to the Garden, we're New York. We're point guard heaven. You know what I'm saying? You know how sad it is that the New York Knicks didn't have a quality point guard in like 20 years since Marbury? And now we have a quality point guard, Derrick Rose excluded, that can break down the defense, pick and roll, throw it on the lob, shoot from three, has a positive PER, average 20 points a game. My God, if he's not the savior, he's kind of close to the savior. My only qualm, and this is the only thing I have to say, is I'm hoping that there's no regression with RJ with Kemba in the lineup. I'm hoping that RJ will be the number 2 option in the Knicks offense, and that Kemba doesn't supplant him as a number 2 offense, because as a number 2 player, because if he does, there may be issues on a go-forward basis. Savior, maybe.
I didn't invite him.
What's happening?
They're muted.
Yo, you guys muted?
You guys muted.
I muted myself. I'm putting the money up. I'm putting the money up for Ed Dollars in the background. No, I listen. I agree. I don't think he's the savior. I don't think it hurts to add talent. To be overloaded with talent. I mean, when you have so much talent, it brings mediocre players. And I'm echoing on somebody's. I think it's you, Wall Street. Let's see. Hold on. When you have talent, when you have an overabundance of talent, what ends up happening is that you then, right? Now mediocre players become even better, because now you just got, now you got so many guys that are they're going at it in practice. And I mean, listen, I hope he has a healthy season, because he doesn't have to average 20, because truth be told, the Knicks season depends on Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. Okay. Everybody else is going to pitch in and make, but let's not get away from that. It has to fall on RJ Barrett's progression and Julius Randle. Because if it doesn't fall on them, I mean, or if they don't compete at the standards that the Knicks need them to compete at, if RJ Barrett isn't a 20-point scorer this year, it becomes questionable about, because he wants to command big money. Although he wants to stay in New York, he feels like he's a big time player, and he's getting there, but it's not the progression that Zion Williamson had. You know what I mean? And in the end, that's what I think we're kind of looking at from a third pick in the first round of the draft, at least. But I don't know. You know what I mean? We got about maybe 15 minutes left. Let's talk about Obi Toppin and Kevin Knox, right? These guys are interesting. To me, Obi's a tweener. All right. He's tall enough to be he's short enough to be a 3, but really isn't a 3. He's really a 4. He's an undersized 4. They can't really shoot, but gets out on the open court, can jump out the building, from the 3-point, Ryan. That's what I mean to say. He can't really shoot the 3, but I don't know. And then you got Kevin Knox, who, in my opinion, I think the Knicks damaged him. I think the instability of recent years of them drafting, here's a kid with a 7-foot wingspan, and he had all the tools coming out of Kentucky to be something special. And I don't know. I think the losing culture kind of damaged him a little bit, but I don't know. Let's start with you, Ryan. Who cracks the lineup at the 3? Actually, I think that's going to go to RJ Barrett anyway. So does Kevin Knox get any minutes, or does Obi take his minutes?
Minutes in China. I don't think people understand when you're where I was genuinely excited to watch like Clay Anthony early play. Retired at 28 was the highlight of 2014 for me. Kevin Knox was that for like a month, and he's just fallen off. Statistically, he's regressed in just about every category possible, and he's just not getting better. I don't think he will get better. Obi Toppin, on the other hand, is younger. His upside's a lot higher, because at the end of the day, even if he doesn't really like learn how to play that much better, he's still going to be 6'9". He's still going to have like a like 70-inch vertical or whatever, just jumping over guys. And who knows, like maybe he'll learn how to put the ball in the bucket from beyond the arc. I doubt it, but even if he doesn't, that's still another big body on the court, and he fits in a lot more, I think. Kevin Knox, it was over a while ago, I think, and I don't know if it's the fault of the Knicks or it's just his own development or whatever, but I would say at this point it's kind of irreparable. And if you were going to invest in one or the other, I think Toppin's the obvious choice. RJ Barrett's likely, I mean, he's a big 2, but will likely end up being the 3. So it's foolish for you to invest in Kevin Knox, even serviceable, I would say, at this point. Especially picked up someone like Evan Fournier, who could play a 2 or a 3 as well. This doesn't make any sense. But having Obi Toppin be like a backup or a small ball big when you have, Julius Randle playing the 4 or something like that, that feels a lot more natural. Like, that just works. So it's kind of, yeah, I think it's an obvious choice.
Okay, definitely.
All right, I got to jump in. All right, because Ryan, the white Eddie, the white Ed Dollars, you made a couple mistakes there. Number one, you said that Obi was younger than Toppin. I'm sorry, that Obi was younger than Knox. Obi's 23 years old. Knox is 22 years old. All right. Number two, Knox shot 23 years old. Knox is 22 years old. Right. Number two, year, guys. You know what I'm saying? His only fallacy is his defense. And Calipari said when he got drafted, I'm a big Knox guy. When he got drafted, he's still a couple years away. 3 years he's been in the league. He's entering the 4th year. He's only 22 years old. He's still one of the youngest Knicks. So, yes, you got to invest into Toppin because he was the current regime selection, while, partially the regime that selected him last year is not around. But Knox, if he comes into training camp, he's still 6'9". He's still 22 years old. He shot 39% from the three-point line. And at one point, he was fucking money from the three-point line. The corner 3 was Knox. And everyone was questioning why we're playing Obi over Knox. And the obvious answer was, they had investments in Obi. They wanted to show Obi off. They want to make sure that Obi was the right selection. But we all know that Obi's a true 4. Obi is what Julius Randle is. You know what I'm saying? He's a high-flying 4. And Knox is a hybrid. He's a 3-4 with the potential of being, honestly, the Knicks' best player if he can get his mind straight. I'm really rooting for Knox because, we could have had Michael Porter Jr., and I really want Knox to be that player. I'm not sure it's going to work out. Hey, I just snuck into Hek's podcast. My bad, Hek. I'm going to sub you back in.
Hey, hold on.
Yo.
Wait. Okay, Ryan, you got a rebuttal?
A rebuttal? Man, this is debate. All right, gang.
Yeah, no, we got time. Don't worry.
Well, Ryan don't want no smoke, bro.
He's a year younger.
My man.
Ryan don't want no smoke. I don't see it. I think if either of them are ready now, it's Toppin. Those percentages look good, but he wasn't playing a lot of minutes. He wasn't putting up a lot of shots. So does it matter that he shot 39%? Nah, not really. I think he's all right, but if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Toppin. It's personal preference.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen. Well, here we go, Ryan.
Hey, listen.
So, Wall Street.
Wall Street lost his turn.
Oh, Wall Street lost his turn? Okay, Coach, you up.
Nah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach. You understand? Nah.
Yo.
Listen, I could tell you this. Knox, I'm not buying what Eddie's talking about. I'm not buying Kevin Knox. I think he's had his chance. I think that he doesn't gel well. And I think that Obi is the high flyer that we need. Obi is not a 4. He's a 3. All right. And if you're gonna put him at the 4, as if you're gonna go small, I think that the Knicks are gonna try to go a little bit bigger this year. I'm hoping that Obi could crack the starting lineup. I love the competition, But yeah, Kevin's boat ride. They should have let Kevin go when they let Frank Ntilikina go. I thought that they were like a package deal. So, that's my take.
It's terrible.
Okay. So, coach, here we go. You
All
got
right,
3
all right.
minutes, coach.
I am a
Wall
huge,
Street gave you a
I am
minute.
a huge Obi fan. All right. Yes, he's a decent shooter. He has scorer's potential, being a lead scorer at Dayton. So he has that experience of being the man at a college standpoint. But he did his time, 3 years, whatever at Dayton. Like he's polished, cool. But again, I think Ryan and Ed both said it. He's very similar to Julius Randle. Okay, and it's like, if he looks similar, then they should be playing the same position. He's the backup 4, period. And until Julius Randle steps out, which is hopefully, at the end of this contract, let Obi take over, I'm fine with that. Kevin Knox is being disserviced here. All right. Kyle Anderson does not have good foot speed, but he turned out to be a decent shooter, and he had like amazing basketball IQ. Kevin Knox has a solid IQ. He knows how to play off his screens. He knows how to come off his screens and either curl or flare. So that means his 39% shooting, which was mostly some corner threes, is very effective on any team. But again, 6'9", lanky, I think he has a lot more potential defensively given the chance. The Knicks are not giving him enough room to work with. If you can play guys like Kyle Korver for long times in the league, I don't know what Pat Connaughton does, but he's still in the league. You can pay a 6'9" lanky shooter to be on your team, Like, this don't make no sense. And then Reggie Bullock is good. Like, I don't know what Tibbs saw. Like, I guess he was decent defensively, but Kevin Knox could give us just as much given the opportunity. Is his foot speed slower than most? Sure. But his energy, his length, and his ability to catch and shoot, which shouldn't be a problem for anyone that's on the floor with him, is money. Like, it's not like we wanted him to make shots coming into last season. He was making shots, but for whatever reason, Tibbs didn't play him. And then we're all scratching our head in certain games. I think the Indiana game was one of them, was like, yo, you have a shooter and he's sitting on the bench and you're trying to play catch up. Like, it's unfortunate. And if he goes somewhere else and ends up averaging 16 on 3 to 4 threes a game, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed off. Right?
Yo, I'm back. This is my prediction.
Yo,
If Knox goes
This is what happened.
you just made
You got muted, man. You can't be joking. You can't be joking.
Yeah, wait. Knox what?
No, if Knox goes to another team, he will be the Zach LaVine. And that's what Tibbs did. He threw away Zach LaVine. LaVine became a star, and we're going to really see Tibbs' true colors.
Man.
But here's the difference. When Tibbs gave up on LaVine was averaging 19, 20 points. He had I think he tore his MCL or something. He had the injury.
They took Jimmy Butler. Who would you rather have now?
Oh, I mean, shoot, I bet they'd rather have LaVine right now. But I mean, at the end of the day, because regardless of anything, they took Butler and they only made it to the first round.
Yeah.
So
went to the finals.
And you had a young core, Wiggins, LaVine, and Karl Anthony Towns, which you didn't give that a chance to develop, man. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, Coach Tibbs made a couple of weird coaching moments last year. Like, why wasn't Frank Ntilikina in on more defensive assignments? That's 6 fouls that you could just waste on the opponent's, all-star or whatever. He never did that. He never used that strategy, which is a key strategy for any defensive-minded coach. You got bodies, waste fouls on them. Throw off their rhythm. You got to throw off a player's rhythm. You just foul them until they get frustrated. Didn't do it. With Knox, you had a guy that was looking like he was a proven shooter. Like he was, like you said, with the flares and coming off the screens and being as mobile as he was. I thought he was 6'10", and he turned out to be only 6'8" or 6'9". But even then, I'm like, you got this kid that, I don't know, and maybe he wasn't working in practice. I think this will be one of those behind the scenes, documentaries years from now. Like, what happened with Kevin Knox? Who knows? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think Kevin Knox at this point is trade bait. And I don't know. It is what it is. But fellas, we got about a minute left. 2 minutes and a half left. Any closing remarks from you guys? Let's start with you. Coach. Any closing remarks?
Should be a decent season as long as Mitchell Robinson stays healthy. The center position seems exciting. With Jericho and Nerlens Noel. So it'll be a great rotation between who gets the most minutes and how they make it work. Again, just barring injuries, man. Mitchell's known to get hurt, so he probably won't get an extension. He's probably on his way out. And then we'll see what else develop from the young guys. Big shout out to Kemba again. And I definitely believe this is his return, man. This will be a great story. And just him being here is going to be fun. Like, that's my favorite part about the season is going to be watching him at the Garden.
Okay. Wall Street. Closing remarks. Sorry.
The whole time, all I was thinking was, I'm going to say how excited I am about watching Kemba at the Garden, and then Coach B said it. So now I look like I'm biting. But I think that out of this episode, just recording this episode right now, it just like got me like really excited to watch Kemba at the Garden. So I'm really excited about Evan Fournier too. I want to see Mitch back. We got Julius Randle. We're gonna see if he could repeat the performance that he had last year. We got a couple of holes. We got RJ Barrett. It's gonna be an exciting season. We're gonna have a lot of fun this season.
All right, awesome. Okay, Ryan. Here's Ryan. Closing remarks, my brother.
Yeah, I don't have much to say outside of what everyone else said. I'm just real excited for the season. The one thing that I hope is that Evan Fournier gets a haircut. That's really it for me.
His landline is more jacked up than KD's, man. I think they'd probably go for who's got the worst head.
Fire Tuck,
who's got the worst head?
He's like a priest in the Middle Ages.
And 2K always jacks up his player, man. He always looks
2K
crazy.
Always jacks up his player, man. He always 2K.
It is what it is.
Ed Dollars in the background.
All right, Ed Dollars, you got anything to say or no?
I kicked him out.
Ed Dollars, you got anything to say or no?
I kicked him out. I couldn't take it no more.
All right, well, fellas, it's been a great show. I want to thank Ryan for coming through. Appreciate you, Ryan. You know what I'm saying? From Basketball Only. You're always welcome. I want to say you're an honorary member of STK. You're always welcome to come through, whatever. Surviving the Knicks. Got the guys, Wall Street Heck. We got Coach B. We got Ed Dollars lurking in the background somewhere. We got our special guest, Ryan. And I've been Just.Hek. Thank y'all for tuning in. And have a great one.